Welcome back everybody to Cruising Complete. Barry here. We got your weekly cruise news update, everything that's been going on the past week in the cruising world. There's been some big news come out. More COVID cases on more cruise ships that are currently sailing, more cancellations, more information about crew members being called back, what ships they're going to be on, when they're going to be going on those ships. More information regarding vaccines and more cruise lines now coming out requiring vaccines. All that information regarding some changes at some ports, and all of that coming up now. Let's dig into it. What do you have to tell everybody, Anaya?
Hit the subscribe button. Thumbs up. I love you.
Okay, so the first news story that we're going to get to today actually probably should have been the biggest story in cruising world this week, but it really wasn't a story at all. Nobody in the United States seemed to hear about it. It's just now starting to surface. So what we know happened on Tuesday, February 16th, on the MSC Grandiosa ship sailing out of Italy, that was doing 7-night sailings, there was one positive COVID-19 case on board. We don't know the details about the gentleman's age or any of that. We know it was a gentleman and his wife on board the ship. The gentleman tested positive, his wife is negative. They were in the same room, so they did contact tracing on everybody based on their policies and procedures for COVID. Went to the next port, dropped them off at the next port, continued the cruise ship. Okay, everything went on after that normal. So why this is a big deal is because, number one, there wasn't a huge outbreak even with a COVID case on board, so that's a good sign. That shows that some of these policies and procedures that they're putting in place is actually working. Second thing that's so important is because it means that it shows that you can have success even with COVID around still sailing. So maybe we'll start getting more sailings and more positive stuff like this happening. Obviously, it's a negative that somebody did contract COVID, but it definitely is a positive that it wasn't a huge outbreak. And it really wasn't a story at all. It was reported in Italy a little bit, but that's it. There's only a couple of articles online about it, so it really wasn't much of a story. Second thing we want to get to today is cancellations. So Norwegian and Viking cruise lines both extended their cancellations to May 31st. So they're not going to be doing any sailings until into June. And then P&O Cruise Lines has extended theirs to June 18th. So we got a lot of cruise ships now extending into summer. And part of the reason maybe that could explain it, a lot of people are hearing about crew possibly going back to work. We're going to touch on that in a second. We did a video a couple of weeks ago about finding out that crew members were actually going back to work. I referred all of y'all to go check out Chris Wong's vlogs online. He was an employee for Royal Caribbean, a casino host on board their cruise line, and he does vlogs about it, and he actually said he was going back to work. So if you haven't yet, definitely go check out Chris Wong's page. We're going to put a link to it down in the description so you can go check out his page as well and get all of his updates. But what we do know is Royal Caribbean has been calling crew members back to their ships. So as early, from the information we know, as early as March 1st, crew members are going to be flying into the U.S. to the ports to get back on cruise ships. Now, like I said, with the cancellations coming up until June, why does this matter? Well, March 1st, say crew members get back to these ships. They're not going to get back March 1st and start sailing on March 15th. That's not how it's going to work. It's going to take a little bit of time. They're going to have to do training. These crew members have been off the ship for over a year. So there's going to be a lot of training, which they do ongoing training anyway while they're on the ship, but now they got COVID-19 and all the policies and procedures for that they're going to have to deal with. So there's going to be a training curve that they're going to have to hit. It's probably going to take them a good while too. This isn't something that's going to take them a week's worth of training. You're going to see multiple weeks, maybe well over a month worth of actual training before they can actually do test sailings. So then after they do all of their training, and they possibly could start test sailing if the CDC allows it, or doing test sailings other places if the CDC doesn't allow it. Test cruises are going to happen for weeks. It's not going to be a one test cruise and we're good to go and everybody go jump back on a cruise ship. Unfortunately, there's going to be numerous test cruises. That's probably going to last a good month, maybe. Nobody really knows for sure, just my opinion here, but you're probably going to have a good 3 to 4 weeks worth of test cruises so they can get some data from that and then move forward with actually getting paying customers on board. So with that time frame, even with the crew members starting back on March 1st, your earliest you're going to be on a cruise, you're looking at least 2.5 months for the training and test cruises and all that. So realistically, the beginning of summertime in June probably would be the earliest that you could actually get back on a ship. We're hopeful it's earlier. We're really hopeful for summertime. On another positive, though, relating to this is by the end of the year, Carnival CEO Arnold Donalds said that he fully expects their entire fleet to be up and running cruises by the end of this year. Now, obviously, that's his opinion. There's nothing that backs it up that says they are in fact doing that yet, but everything directional wise he is pointing towards that's going to happen at the end of the year. So maybe he's got some good news coming from the CDC or something for the US that they can start sailing out of here, or maybe they're planning on sailing out of other ports. We don't know that information yet, but it's positive that he's coming out and saying that definitely by the end of the year that they fully expect to be running. We do know that they're starting another ship of service in one of Carnival's own fleets. It's the Costa Smeralda. The Costa Smeralda is going to start sailing March 27th, and they're going to be doing 7-day cruises out of Italy, and they're going to run for about a month. And then after about a month's time, they're going to move and do sailings to the Mediterranean. So another cruise line that's up and running. That's a good sign. The more we get going, the more that's going to follow and open up after that. So while there's some negative stuff going on in the cruising world, there's definitely some positive stuff to look at as well. Now, Crystal Cruise Lines, they made a little bit of news this week with being the largest cruise line company now that's going to require vaccinations for their passengers. So a lot of cruise lines have come out and said they fully expect to do that for crew members, but Costa is the largest one so far to do it for passengers. Are other cruise lines going to follow? We'll just have to wait and see. My personal opinion, I don't know if they're going to require it for passengers on every cruise line. Like I said, there are other cruise lines currently sailing, MSC Royal Caribbean being successful without the vaccines, but it's very possible they could require it moving forward and trying to jumpstart the cruise industry and get everything going back to normal. So another couple of items real quick is Port of Miami came out this week and said that they are going to have shore power, which pretty much what that means is now when ships get into port, instead of them having to keep their engines running to power the ship, they're going to be able to plug right into the grid in the port in Miami and run the ships off the electricity there at the port. Why this is important is because it'll help cut emissions and pollution in the ports. So there's been a lot happening as far as emissions in cruise ships go. There's a couple of the new liquid natural gas ships that are coming out and debuting now. So Miami coming out making an agreement with 6 of the large cruise lines that port at Miami to be able to offer this shore power. That's going to help cruising moving forward as well. And one more kind of interesting thing that we saw this week was Carnival released a board game. In conclusion, they're got with Monopoly, so now there's a Carnival Monopoly version available. We're going to throw the link to that also down in the description. I believe it was $39.95, $39.99, somewhere around there for the Carnival Monopoly board. You can go online and order it. So if anybody likes Monopoly, if anybody likes Carnival, something neat to look at just to have a keepsake and something you can play that's cruise related right now while nobody can be on a ship and actually cruising. So that's going to be pretty neat. Thanks for watching, everybody. We hope you liked the videos. If you did, hit that like button. It helps us a lot. Share it with your friends. Hit the subscribe button. The subscribe button helps us tremendously. It makes us very happy. We love it when people subscribe and watch the content. We're going to try to keep bringing you more content that you like to watch. If there's anything that anybody wants to add, any information, throw that down in the comments. A couple weeks ago, on our video that we did, we had crew members actually commenting about returning to cruising. So go back, watch those old videos. There's some information in those as well. Definitely check out the comments from the crew members. That was kind of neat. Also, we're going to throw another video up here, and it's our previous tips videos that we've done, so go check that out. There's some pretty good tips in there. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great week.
Thanks for watching. Bye.